Let's be honest, we all love Antiques Roadshow for the same reason. It's that lottery ticket thrill. It's the moment someone brings in a dusty painting from their attic or a ceramic pot their nan used as a doorstop, only to find out it's worth enough to buy a new house. We live for that gasp, the stunned silence, the I had no idea moment. But every once in a while, a story comes along that stops being about the money altogether. It becomes about love, about memory, and about a legacy that no auction hammer could ever truly measure. On a recent episode at the National Waterfront Museum in Swansea, that's exactly what happened. The cameras found their way to expert and auctioneer Raj Bisram, who was sitting across from two sisters. They hadn't come with a forgotten masterpiece, they had come with a promise. On the table in front of them wasn't just a pile of antiques, it was their father's life. Unfortunately, we lost our dad about a year and a half ago, one of the sisters explained, her voice steady but holding a universe of emotion. This wasn't a casual trip to see what they could get for some old items. This was a pilgrimage. It was his wish, she continued, to have all of his memorabilia on Antiques Roadshow. Imagine that. Of all the things a man might ask for, he wanted his life's work to be seen and appreciated. He wanted his story to be told, and now his daughters were here to make that wish come true. A life of danger and dedication. So what was this memorabilia they had so carefully brought in? It was the toolkit of one of the world's toughest and most dangerous professions, a complete set of vintage commercial diving gear. There was a heavy-duty, deep-sea diving helmet, the kind that looks like it belongs in a Jules Verne novel. There were the massive, weighted diving boots, built to keep a man anchored to the seabed against the crushing force of the ocean. There was a collection of logbooks and a diver's watch. The expert Raj looked over the items, but his focus was on the picture of the man himself, their father. Dad was originally from here, he was from Swansea. One daughter shared, a smile touching her face. He wasn't just some weekend hobbyist. He started diving when he was about 11 years old and got into commercial diving in the 70s, so he had over a 20-year career diving. And what a career it was! This wasn't gentle-paced scuba diving in clear, tropical waters. This was hard, gritty industrial work in the most unforgiving environments on Earth. He worked in the North Sea, Middle East, and off Nigeria, she said. She then listed names that would be instantly recognizable to anyone in the industry. He worked on the Piper Alpha, worked on the Claymore, worked on the Pharaohs. Raj Bisram nodded, the gravity of that career clear on his face. So, some famous places that people will know of. The North Sea in the 1970s was the Wild West. It was incredibly dangerous work, essential to building the oil and gas industry, and the men who did it were a special breed. The mention of the Piper Alpha, in particular, hangs in the air, a name synonymous with one of the worst offshore oil disasters in history. Their father had worked in that exact environment, a place of immense risk and incredible bravery. But to the sisters, he wasn't just a hero of the deep sea, he was Dad. They shared their own memories, laughing as they recalled him putting the enormous brass helmet on their little heads, the sheer weight of it, and the echo of their own voices inside. They remembered trying on his boots, which must have felt like wearing concrete blocks, and clomping around the house. This collection wasn't just historical, it was personal. It was the smell of brass and sea air, the sound of their father's laughter, the artifacts of their childhood. The story is in the scratches. He was very good at his job, he was very thorough, his daughter said with evident pride. You can tell by his logbooks. This is where the expert Raj truly lit up. He gently picked up one of the logbooks. Absolutely. You've got all these logbooks, which I briefly had a flick through. I mean, they're incredible. They weren't just lists of dates and depths. They were a meticulous record of a man's life, day by day, dive by dive. They were proof of his professionalism, his dedication, and the thorough nature that kept him safe in a job where any mistake could be your last. Then Raj turned to the helmet. It was, he said, the Rolls-Royce of diving helmets. But it was his next comment that showed why this segment was so special. What I like, Raj said, running a hand over the brass, is that it's got the dents. In the world of antiques, perfection is everything. A chip, a crack, a scratch. These things often destroy the value, but not here. When antiques experts look at things, we look for them to be perfect, he explained, but in certain situations, this tells a story. It's fantastic.